Hey, it's your friend Choice CJ here, and this is my quarterfinals battle for the UBL Season 2. We're going up against Deebs, coach of the Minnesota Thunderwolves. And if you did miss my team builder, I do recommend you guys go check it out. As you can see, I've brought Necrozma, Heatran, Breloom, Togekiss, Diggersby, and Lopunny. Deebs has brought Snorlax, Comfey, Mega Gallade, Stunfisk, Thundurus, and Braviary. The reason that the format is a little different than normal is that this is actually the recording from Deebs' perspective. We played a very long game, and then as we got right to the end, we disconnected, and so we decided we didn't want to recreate it or anything like that. The match was basically over, so we didn't want to recreate it either on cartridge or on Showdown. So Deebs was nice enough to lend me his live footage, and so it is going to be from his perspective, like I said, so hopefully you guys don't mind. I'm going to lead with my Breloom because I do want to try and get my Toxic Orb off as soon as possible, and if he leads with something like Thundurus or the Stunfisk, it's possible that I can get off like a substitute even very early, which is nice, because he doesn't have too many great ways of dealing with Subseed. But he is going to lead with his Gallade, which is immediately going to pressure me into my Necrozma, which is my designated response to this Gallade. I could have just protected turn 1, but I didn't want to risk him going for SD, because if he goes for an SD on turn 1, and then goes for a second SD on turn 2 to get up to +4, that would have put me in a really bad position. So I thought it would be a little bit better to try and get into my Necrozma as soon as possible, and then just go straight for a T-Wave. Because that's going to be pretty nice for me. Nothing really appreciates T-Wave on his team. Like, obviously, Thundurus and Stunfisk cannot get paralyzed, but Thundurus especially does not want to switch on Photon Geyser. I suppose that something like Stunfisk could, but the nice thing is, like, if he wants to go Stunfisk, that's a free switch into to my Breloom pretty much every time, assuming he doesn't, like, paralyze me or something with something like Discharge. But I do just go for that T-Wave as he goes for the SD, like I said. So that puts me into a really nice position, because now I am going to outspeed this Gallade, and I can just throw off a Photon Geyser and do a pretty good chunk of damage. And I do have Culper Berry in case he chooses to go for the knockoff, but he instead chooses to go for Leaf Blade. So he's shown SD, Zen Headbutt, and Leaf Blade, so presumably his last move is Close Combat, which means he does not have a super effective coverage move for the Necrozma. Leaf Blade does make sense to help deal with a Quagsire with Unaware that would be able to ignore the SD boosts from Gallade, but it puts him in an unfortunate position where he can't really deal with this Necrozma without setting up further. Like that move there did maybe like 35%, which is still a decent chunk, but it's not a lot when I have the ability to outspeed and go for Moonlights and get up to a good amount of HP, and he has the risk of getting paralyzed. So I am going to get up to pretty much full HP here as he goes for Zen Headbutt and misses. I think that's a little bit of a misplay. He probably should have just clicked Leaf Blade. Maybe he was hoping like I would switch out, or maybe he was hoping for like a flinch or something like that. But even a flinch, even like going for flinches, it would probably only do like 30% damage to me or so, or like 25%. So anyway, I get off a second Photon Geyser. He's definitely one hit away from dying to Geyser, but I want to make sure that my Necrozma leaves this exchange with as much HP as possible. So pretty much I'm just going to Moonlight until he gets full parried, and then I'm going to try and finish him off. And so I do get off my Moonlight here. That's now 2 Moonlights that I've used. He goes for a Leaf Blade and unfortunately gets a crit. Leaf Blade, I'm pretty sure, is a boosted critical percent move. So, you know, I guess it's bound to happen, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. Definitely unfortunate there. So yeah, now I just have to, you know, continue going for Moonlight, and I'm going to stick into my original plan. I'm just hoping that he gets paralyzed at some point, which he does do just right now. So I have a decent amount of HP on my Necrozma, but not as much as I could have if he hadn't gotten that crit. But, you know, it is what it is. That's the game we play. And so now I am just going to go for Geyser, because it is going to take out this Necrozma, and he does not have a switch-in to Photon Geyser, so it's pretty nice. He didn't bring any super effective stab for Necrozma. Necrozma, if I can keep it at a decent amount of HP, and I can prevent it from getting toxic or anything like that, is actually really solid right now, because he has a really hard time breaking it. And so he is going to sack his Gallade, and we are looking pretty nice, 6-5 lead early on. And so like I said, you know, keeping Necrozma healthy is pretty nice, just because it's kind of hard for him to deal with. I don't really want to let him weaken it too much if I can help it. But, you know, certain mons that come in here, I feel like I would have to leave it in versus something like Thunders, for example. I'm thinking I'm going to leave it in, just try and throw off a Photon Geyser, because I don't want him to set up for free. Like, depending upon what sort of setup moves he has, I could revenge kill him with something like Lopunny, but I know that like from full, my Lopunny is not going to be able to kill with just return. I do not have Fake Out or anything like that this week. So he does go into his Thundurus, and I do decide that I'm going to click the Photon Geyser here in just a moment. And he's just going to go for a Thunderbolt. I wasn't sure what sort of move he was going to go for, but the Thunderbolt does reveal that he's actually modest-natured. And so it's weird to me that he's modest, just because then it allows him to be outsped by Heliolisk. But it does obviously allow him to hit a lot of stuff harder on my team, such as this Necrozma. And so, unfortunately, I did let my Necrozma take damage, even though I was just explaining I didn't really want it to. But I felt it was worth it, just in case this Thundurus did anything crazy. Like, if he wanted a Nasty Plot or something, then I could either sack my Necrozma or sack off something else, and then pretty easily revenge kill with my Lopunny. And if he did want to, like, agility up or something, I have my Heatran in the back with the Chople Berry, which makes me very safe versus Thundurus. I was going back and forth between Chople and Shuko this week, but I decided on Chople overall just because it made me a little safer versus this Thundurus, and versus certain other Pokemon like Braviary as well if they want to go for superpower. But on this turn, I do believe I just click Leech Seed, if I'm not mistaken, as he goes for a Focus Blast. He does connect, and it does a pretty decent chunk of damage, like 50% or so, which is going to confirm once again that this is a modest-natured Thundurus. But I do have now the Leech Seed up. I have the option to go for Protect now if I choose. And that is exactly what I'm going to do, because it gives me 12% for my Toxic Orb, and it gives me a bit more HP recovery from my... from that. I couldn't remember what it was called. So anyway, I'm in a little bit of a weird position here, because if he Focus Blasts and hits me, I'm not going to be able to substitute up. But I can't go for an attacking move, because my only attacking move is Focus Blast. And so, if I go for a Focus Blast and he presumably hits me, I won't be able to get off any damage. So my only play here, as long as I don't want to switch out, which I don't really want to do, is just to go for a Leech Seed, because like, if he wants to switch out, at least I can hit the incoming Pokemon with Leech Seed. But he does unfortunately miss. And the reason that that's unfortunate is because now I can actually go for that substitute that I couldn't go for last turn. I will not be in range. I will not be below 25% if he hits his Focus Blast here. So it puts me in a pretty nice position. He's going to go for a second Focus Blast, and he does miss once again. So definitely a major bummer for him. Because, like, I don't think it would have killed my Breloom, like, any way that this exchange played out. I don't think he would have killed me. But now I have a practically max HP Breloom in here with a substitute up. So it puts him in a much harder position. Like, if I were below 50% and I didn't have up a sub, he could go into something like Comfy and revenge kill me pretty easily. Or he could go into like Braviary and threaten me with Brave Bird or something like that. As it is, he's going to go into his Braviary, and I'm just going to go for the Focus Punch. The reason I went for Focus Punch instead of something like Leech Seed is that I was afraid that if he was somehow like a sub Braviary or something like that, I didn't want to have him go for a sub and then me not get any value out of that turn because I went for Leech Seed. So I thought Focus Blast was better, or sorry, Focus Punch was better. The only tricky thing, of course, is that now he did go for a U-turn, and he has the option to switch out of his Braviary, and he already knows that I'm going for Focus Punch because of that animation that's at the beginning of the turn. So he can go into his Fighting Resist, which is his Comfy. Luckily, it's not a very good Fighting Resist, because as you can see, that took a chunk of damage, like so much damage. And so I do just want to go for a Leech Seed here, actually. Because this Comfy, like, even if he's like a Choice Specs variant, he's only going to do like maybe 75% to me, if I'm not mistaken, like 75 to 80%. And I can go for the Leech Seed and then follow up with a Protect and like just kind of wear this thing down a little bit, and then pivot around into my Heatran, into my Togekiss to try and deal with the Comfy. So it was a risk that I was willing to take. And he actually ends up taunting, which prevents me, of course, from going for the Leech Seed. And because my only move is Focus Punch to do damage, I obviously cannot stay in here because there's literally nothing I can do. So anyway, I am going to switch into my Togekiss as he goes for the Calm Mind. So this was what I was afraid of when I saw the Comfey at team matchup. I thought a Calm Mind variant would be fairly likely, but I do have my Trick Togekiss that I can use to cripple the Comfey because I can give it that Choice Scarf, prevent it from switching up moves. That means it has to lock itself into Draining Kiss or Taunt or whatever else. We haven't seen, so it's got a Taunt, Calm Mind, and presumably Draining Kiss. We don't know what the last move slot is, but I would venture a guess that it is just Hidden Power Ground to hit the Heatran as hard as possible. It could also be Energy Ball if you wanted to hit Quagsire, but Quagsire probably isn't going to take a Draining Kiss all that well, even if it's ignoring the boosts. So we do give it the Choice Scarf. We take its Babiri Berry. It makes sense as a option because it allows it to deal with Heatran a little bit better. So nice prep on his part. Babiri Berry isn't really going to serve Togekiss all that well, to be honest. But anyway, I'm just going to stay in here in Roost, because if he wants to lock himself into something, I can then make the corresponding play. You know, if he wants like locks himself in the Draining Kiss, I can go into like Heatran, for example. If he wants to switch out, like, you know, there's really nothing that he can switch out into except maybe Stunfisk. That would be annoying for Togekiss. But if he goes into Stunfisk, I have a very free switch into Breloom, so I'm not really worried about that at all. But he's just going to go for another Draining Kiss, and I'm going to be able to get up to full HP. This Comfey also, with the Draining Kiss and all that recovery, is back up at full HP as well. So this Comfey is going to be a nuisance because most of my Pokemon are very bulky, have a lot of HP investment this week. And this Comfey does not have any HP investment. Like, you can see the 137 on the screen there, which proves that it's it has like almost no HP investment. But just from the fact that it took so much from that Focus Punch, that uninvested Focus Punch from Breloom, confirms that it's very minimally bulk invested. So anyway, I go into my Heatran, and he makes a really smart switch into his Stunfisk. And so I am like pretty keenly aware of the fact that this Heatran is the only thing that's stopping me from losing to a Scarf Braviary, pretty much. But I decided to go for a Taunt anyway to try and prevent Stealth Rocks from going up, just because rocks are obviously annoying in general. I think that was a mistake because it does, you know, he does go for the Earthquake. I'm not packing Shuka Berry, and I'm definitely in range of a Brave Bird from Braviary now, so it's definitely a problem. So I should have just gone hard into Breloom. If he went for Rocks, you know, I get it in for free. If he went for the Earthquake like he did go for, or like a Discharge or other electric type move, it's basically coming in for free as well. But yeah, basically I just wanted to prevent rocks, and so that's why I wanted to make that taunt play, but I don't think it was worth it because the reward was not worth the risk. I do get up my own rocks at least right here, but he gets his Braviary in before that happens, so that's definitely annoying for me, for sure. And I don't have a switch into this, like I said. I've got several members of my team that are at full HP, and then I have my Necrozma that's at 70 HP. It's at like 30% basically. It's good. This Braviary is two-shotting something on my team right now. There's really nothing I can do about it. So my thought process is going to be, let's just sack the Heatran and then get my Diggersby in, because Diggersby should not die to even an Adamant Brave Bird from like a Choice Scarf Braviary. And I'm definitely thinking that that's what this Braviary is, because it is packing the U-turn. So like maybe it's a Banded set or something like that. But Choice Scarf makes a lot more sense because it allows him to revenge kill Lopunny if the need arises. Like, he does have that Comfey, but Comfey, with the Calm Mind and the Choice Scarf on it now, it's not going to be able to do enough damage to, like, one-shot a Lopunny. It'll do, like 50 to 60, maybe even less than that, because I have 100 HP investment on my Lopunny. So anyway, it is going to, the Braviary is going to kill my Heatran. Then, like I said, I'm going to go into my Diggersby here. I'm going to try to threaten this thing out. Like, he must be figuring that I'm Scarf as well, but, like, if he's Jolly Scarf, he's going to outspeed me. Even if he's just Adamant max speed, he's going to outspeed my Diggersby because I don't have enough investment to outspeed it. But anyway, I should be able to live the Brave Bird and kill with a return. So that's what I'm thinking here. And if he wants to swap out, I pretty much 2-hit KO something. It kind of depends on the exact investment on his Stunfisk, whether I'm going to kill him or not. So yeah, I just click return, and Deeps is running out of time here, but he is going to switch on out, and he's going to send in his Stunfisk instead. So you can see this return does quite a chunk of damage. It does about 50%. He does get the leftovers off, which most likely puts him out of range of a second return. I sort of hastily clicked return here, mainly because I wanted to punish him for going for rocks. And, you know, if on the off chance that I can somehow kill him, that would obviously put me in a much better position. But like I said, I'm pretty sure he's out of range of return based on the calc. So I make a little bit of a misplay here and click return. I would have been a much better position if I had gone into Breloom. For sure, but I did not do that, unfortunately. And the other problem too is that if he is static, like getting my Diggersby paralyzed would be pretty annoying, because it loses all the value from its scarf. I'm not gonna be able to threaten the Braviary as much. So I do go for the return. It doesn't kill. I think it probably gets like a max roll or something. It does a lot of damage, and he's able to get up his rocks. So definitely annoying. And again, a little bit of a misplay on my part. But anyway, now he has his rocks up. I could just kill with return here, but I decided the risk of getting static paralyzed is too great, and I decided just to go straight into my Breloom on this turn. And he does go for Toxic, which is pretty funny because obviously I have the Toxic Orb, and I'm already Toxic here. And so I do have the opportunity just to go for a Substitute. And Substitute's really good, especially because this Comfy is already choice locked. So if he wants to taunt and prevent me from doing Leech Seed Protect shenanigans, it's pretty nice for me because, like, yes, I'll be prevented from taunting, but I'll have a sub up and I'll be able to click Focus Punch a bunch of times because he will be locked into taunt and he can't go for Draining Kiss or anything like that versus me. So I do just decide to go for the Focus Punch on this turn. Even though he could break my sub with a Draining Kiss if he chose to. And we'll see what he elects to do, if he's going to taunt or if he's going to Draining Kiss. So yeah, here comes up my Focus Punch and does go for the taunt. So got really, got into a good position on this turn. He went for the taunt and he got pretty much no value off of it because now he can't Draining Kiss me. He actually is going to die to another Focus Punch if he leaves this thing in here. Like, leaving it in there would do nothing, right? Because like, he just has to taunt again. So he is just going to go ahead and sack off his Stunfisk. So Breloom collecting a second kill, getting the Leech Seed kill on the Thundurus, and then getting a Focus Punch kill on the Stunfisk. So that's pretty nice. And now the Comfy can come back in. And he is going to be able to go for Draining Kiss now versus me. So I don't remember exactly what I do on this turn. I guess I Focus Punch. Focus Punch I think might have been a mistake. But it's hard to say. Like, I knew that he was in range of dying to Focus Punch, but I guess I forgot to take into account the healing that he would get from Draining Kiss. And so he's at a very low amount of HP now, of course. But he's going to be able to get up a lot of healing on me if he goes for another Draining Kiss. And so I think here I try and go for a Leech Seed. It's hard to remember. There's a lot of turns between this Comfy and this Breloom in this battle. So I'm doing my best to remember exactly what took place. But in any case, we are up 5-3, which is pretty good. Match is going kind of slow. Yeah, we do see that Draining Kiss come out. And he does about 50% on the dot, which gives this thing a lot of healing. And I do go for a Substitute. I don't know if that was necessarily the right play or not. But basically, I'm just trying to think of, like, okay, if I can get, like, Sub-Seed going, then maybe I'll be able to stall this thing out of Draining Kisses eventually and stuff like that. I go for a Protect on the next turn to heal up. Yeah, I do believe this turn I try and go for a Leech Seed. And so he's going to break my sub with the Draining Kiss once again. I think if I can get the Leech Seed off here, it pretty much guarantees I have a winning position versus this thing. But I do miss, which really sucks. So now I'm, it's the same situation as like 2 or 3 turns ago, except I have 40% less HP than what I started with. If I had like full HP, and then maybe I could start this exchange all over. But now it puts me in a much harder spot, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I don't really have anything on my team that can switch into Draining Kiss. Like, I guess Lopunny, Lopunny, I don't think I can switch in fresh on Draining Kiss. It can definitely take one, which would be good. Maybe if it's because it's not Mega Evolved, it won't do as much damage to Lopunny, but Lopunny also has pretty bad bulk before it Mega Evolves. Not that it has good bulk afterwards, but at least it's got like 96 base special defense or something like that. So anyway, Deebs finally makes a switch, and he brings in his Braviary, which is a pretty smart play. Like, he knew that I was going to be protecting on that turn, so it gives him an opportunity to go for free into his Braviary. So I've really got no reason not to protect here again, just to scout what he wants to do. I'm, again, thinking that he's Choice Scarf. I have no, confirmation of that, but just the moveset and the way he's been playing it definitely makes me think that it's Choice Scarf. So I want to, see what he's going to be locking himself into. He really has nothing, no reason to click anything but Brave Bird. But, Protect lets me scout and confirm that. It also lets me get a little bit of extra healing. And so here, basically, I have to pick something to sack off. I don't want to sack off my Lopunny just yet. I don't want to go into my Diggersby because my Diggersby is basically the only thing, like I said, that can potentially take one from Braviary. So I decided that the least useful member of the team is Togekiss. With the Choice Scarf being tricked off of it and onto the Comfy, it's pretty much done its job. We do have the Snorlax in the back on Deebs' side still, but, there's nothing that I can do to, I can't trick it anymore to cripple it because I no longer have that Choice Scarf, and now I have a useless Babiri Berry. But anyway, sack the Togekiss. Try to just do as much recoil damage as possible. Then I go into my Diggersby. Rocks are up, putting me at 94%. If this is a Jolly Braviary, then he's not going to be able to kill me. If he's Adamant, I think he has like a 33% chance or so to kill it with Adamant, assuming that he's like Adamant Scarf with enough speed to outspeed my Diggersby, which is also Choice Scarf Adamant Nature. I have like 236 EVs with an Adamant Nature on my Diggersby. So I just click Return. Either I survive and I take him out with Return, or he's going to get that roll on me. I do a tremendous amount of recoil to me, and then I probably just end up sacking Lopunny. Because Breloom, I think, is too good at this point to sack off. Necrozma I'd like to keep around to potentially knock off a Recycle Curse Snorlax. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But I actually outspeed the Braviary, and so I was talking to Deebs afterwards, and he said that he just had enough speed investment on it to outspeed some variant of Lopunny. I don't remember exactly. But it's weird because I EV'd my Snorlax, sorry, not my Snorlax, my Diggersby just to outspeed like a max speed Greninja. And max speed Greninja is slower than Braviary, so maybe he's trying to outspeed. I don't really know, but he said that he definitely messed up. He didn't take into account the Pokemon that have similar speed tiers to Braviary. He was just trying to outspeed one of my faster mons like Lopunny. Maybe it was like an Adamant Lopunny or something. But even Adamant Lopunny hits 187. So if he was just trying to outspeed that and get to like 188 speed, my Diggersby should get to 192 speed. So that's how it makes sense to me that it could have outsped. But anyway, the Snorlax comes out, it goes for Curse, and I go hard into Breloom. Yes, this is a scary set, but there's really nothing that Snorlax can do to beat Breloom once I have a Leech Seed up, because I could just continually go for Sub-Protect versus it. And he's never going to be able to do any damage to me. Like, yeah, somehow if like a PP stall or or if I run out of like Sub-Protect PPs, something could happen like that. If he's like Rest Talk, then potentially he could use like the Rest Talk PP to stall out. But he doesn't show leftovers, which suggests to me he's probably a berry. So anyway, like with that, there's really nothing that he could do to beat Sub-Protect Breloom with that mon. So he does go into the Comfy, and its Comfy is a little bit more annoying for Breloom. Because like he could heal up so much damage even off of my Substitute. But the nice thing is that he is running pretty low on Draining Kiss PP. So I do think that if I just stay in here long enough, I'll be able to stall out all of its PP and would be able to beat the Comfy that way. Unless he has like another attacking move in his last slot. But like I said earlier, the only two attacking moves that make sense are HP Ground and Energy Ball, both of which Breloom resists. So yeah, like once this thing runs out of Draining Kisses, there's not going to be anything that it can do to my Breloom. So yeah, I just basically have to seed and protect and sub over and over and over again. Which is, I understand, not a very exciting thing to watch. But at this point, it's like what I need to do in order to win the game. And I suppose, like, if at any point I wanted to, like, go and sack my Lopunny or something, I can sack Lopunny and then go into Diggersby. And Diggersby is going to be able to one-shot the Comfy. And this is where we see the DC. And so that's going to be the end of the game there. So it ended at a DC, and I'm just going to pause it here. It ends with a 4-2, but as you guys saw, like basically he had no way to beat the Breloom at that point. Either like I think even if we had the ability to go for 200 turns, Breloom was always going to win in that situation. Even versus like a +6/+6 Snorlax with Earthquake. Like I don't know that there's much that he could have done. And I still had like Diggersby in the back to deal with Comfy, or at least to like revenge kill it. The Krozma, like in the battle, I was thinking that he was like a recycle Snorlax, and so if I was able to knock off versus the Snorlax, he didn't even have any way to recover versus my Breloom. So that's kind of what I was thinking there. But it turned out he was actually Resto Chesto, so that might have been a little bit more annoying to deal with. But I still think, you know, like if we went out for doing 200 turns, we could have won. But in the battle, like I was up 4-2 in that situation. With timer very close to the end, and so I would have been I think it was pretty certain that I would have won if the battle had gone to timer. And Deebs was a good sport, and he agreed, and he said, CJ, you know, it sucks that we DC'd, but I'm going to concede. I think you were going to win that game. And so we get, I guess, a 4-2 victory. I don't think it's a 4-0 victory. But in playoffs, the differential doesn't matter. All that matters is wins and losses, and that means we are going to advance to the second round of playoffs, to the semifinals. And so big shout-outs to Deebs for being a good sport. There were a couple things in that match on his side that I think were probably annoying for him, like the couple of Focus Blast misses with the Thunderous. Just allowing the Breloom to stay so healthy was so annoying for him, because that Breloom then became such an issue throughout the entire match. Like without the Braviary, he didn't really have anything to threaten the Breloom all that much. Even the Comfy wasn't gonna be able to beat it 1v1 as long as I was at max HP. So that was annoying for him. There was a few things that were annoying on my side too, like the Leaf Blade crit and the Leech Seed miss onto the Comfy in that one exchange. But I don't think those were necessarily as detrimental as the Focus Blast misses. But Deebs, you know, he didn't even bring it up when we were discussing post-game. So shout-outs to him for you know, being a good sport and just an overall great competitor. And a great admin of the league. He and Terra and Automatic have done a really good job this season, provided good support with scheduling and all the Photoshop resources, the draft stream, and everything else. So I'm really grateful to Deebs and the team for putting together a great season, and I'm sad that Deebs' season has to end here. But we are going to be moving on. I don't know if the other match has been uploaded yet. Basically, we are going to play the winner of, who is it? Styx versus Root. That's the two guys that will be potentially playing versus. At the time I'm recording this, the battle has been played, but I don't think it's been uploaded to YouTube, so I don't want to tell you the result of that. But obviously you guys will be able to see soon enough who we play, because you'll hopefully watch their battles, and then whenever my semifinals match goes up, you'll obviously see who my opponent is at that point. So thank you for tuning in for this longer video. I hope the format was okay. Like I said, we weren't really interested in recreating that battle. I think now that you're at the end, you understand why we didn't want to recreate that. So thanks again to Deebs for sending me his footage and for a great battle. Make sure you check back to the channel for those semifinals, like I said, and make sure you check back to the channel for other gaming and Pokemon content. So until the next time, I'll see you guys later.